Namaskar. I welcome all the Rasikas to the evening session of the fourth day of SPIC MACAY Anubhav. Before we go ahead, we have a message by Shri Ajay Mishra ji, IAS, Special Chief Secretary, Energy, Government of Telangana. Let's hear the message.
First, thankful to SPIC MACAY for associating me with this unique program which they have devised, and it is being implemented during this week, Anubhav. Anubhav is not only experience as per literal translation, it is creating awareness about the Indian cultural practices, cultural music and cultural lifestyle of our country. During the last 3 days, we have experienced and benefited and enjoyed the programs of respected Pandit Jasraj ji, Dr. L. Subramaniam ji, Shri Rajan Sajan Mishra ji, and other accomplished artists. I can also mention here something personal. My first association with SPIC MACAY was 33 years back, when I was associated in my university with organizing the SPIC MACAY program of Shri Joshi ji in JNU in 1983. Now, for last 2 years, SPIC MACAY has been doing excellent work in the state of Telangana with the underprivileged and economically stressed students for organizing workshops where they are spreading awareness about the music and crafts to the young kids, young children. They have benefited a lot, and I am hopeful and confident that this initiative with the kids in Telangana will continue in future in a much more bigger way. With this initiative in Telangana, SPIC MACAY has trained more than 1,500 students during the last 2 years. Today's program is excellent with luminaries like Mrs. Shabana Azmi and Shri Javed Akhtar ji will be amongst all of us. We will be benefited by them, and in the coming 3 days also we will be benefited. So I'll end up by congratulating SPIC MACAY once again and thankful to them for associating me with this journey. Thank you.
Is Srimati Priyadarshini Govind ji, who is one of the foremost Bharatanatyam dancers among the current generation. Albert Einstein had said, and I quote, "We dance for laughter, we dance for tears, we dance for madness, we dance for fears, we dance for hopes, we dance for screams. We are the dancers, we create the dreams." Unquote. On behalf of SPIC MACAY, I welcome Srimati Priyadarshini Govind ji to this twirling evening, which is going to create entranced dreams with her performance today. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
Before the performance, we are going to have an interaction with her. I invite my co-host and our young volunteer, Damini, who herself is a Bharatanatyam dancer, to take the interaction further. Damini.
Thank you, Sujata ji. Namaskar. Srimati Priyadarshini Govind is one of the foremost Bharatanatyam dancers among the current generation. Trained by 2 stalwarts, Kalaimamani S.K. Rajaratnam Pillai and Padma Bhushan Srimati Kalanidhi Narayanan, Priyadarshini ji has imbibed this art form from the best. With her natural aptitude for Abhinaya, coupled with her dedication to her art, Priyadarshini ji has become a flag bearer for Srimati Kalanidhi's Padam repertoire. She seamlessly blends new choreography with the traditional, thereby redefining the boundaries of Bharatanatyam repertoire. Priyadarshini ji has performed in prestigious venues, taking Bharatanatyam to many international and national festivals as a soloist. She has conceptualized and created a unique set of instructional DVDs for covering the entire Bharatanatyam Margam, as well as documenting Srimati Kalanidhi's teaching of Abhinaya, which has benefited thousands of students around the globe. She is the founder and director of Navadarshana, an initiative that teaches dancers to view dance holistically. Through its unique programs, Navadarshana has molded many students into leading soloists. Priyadarshini ji also served as director of the prestigious Kalakshetra Foundation from 2013 and 2017. Priyadarshini ji has been honored with many awards for her excellence and service in the field of arts, which include Nritya Kalanidhi by the Madras Music Academy, Sangeet Natak Academy, Yuvakala Bharati, Kalaimamani, Nritya Chudamani, to name a few. We are very happy to have you as part of our Anubhav series today. We are looking forward for this discussion with you, Priyadarshini ji. So can we start off with the discussion?
Sure.
While some are naturally gifted, for some doing Abhinaya is a bit difficult. Can you share with us your process of imbibing Abhinaya and practicing Abhinaya pieces in your younger days, as we have a lot of students and young dancers joining us today?
First of all, namaskar to everybody. It's really a pleasure to meet all of you, the volunteers of SPIC MACAY, and meet so many people on this new platform. It is an experience, and it seems to be something, the new normal for all of us today. It's exciting. At the same time, it seems a little strange when you really can't see the audience, isn't it? So to talk about Abhinaya and my learning Abhinaya, my days of learning Abhinaya, I started Abhinaya at a very young age. I was 9 when I started with Srimati Kalanidhi Narayanan. And for me, learning dance and learning Abhinaya happened together. So I look at Bharatanatyam through the prism of Abhinaya. And I feel that for me makes it very special. And starting at a young age, and also starting with the vocabulary of Abhinaya as I was learning Bharatanatyam, to me, I absorbed a lot unconsciously, and it also gave me, as I said, the tool to look at the other aspects of Bharatanatyam, like Nritya. It gave me the tool to look at it through Abhinaya. And I feel that emotional connect that Abhinaya gives you is very special. Therefore I feel that starting Abhinaya at a very young age is really beneficial for children. It isn't necessary that you need to do your arangetram or need to know how to dance a little bit, 3-4 years of experience before you learn Abhinaya. I think it's very, very beneficial if you start learning Abhinaya from the early days of dancing itself.
How beautifully articulated. Is there any more process on the way? Did you actually write down the Abhinaya, what you have to do for the hands, for the song, or how you used to capture the information when you were learning Abhinaya?
You want me to talk about how we learnt Abhinaya from Kalanidhi Mami? Okay. So Kalanidhi Mami used to teach us seated. and it was one-to-one classes, and she used to take a composition, give us the word-to-word meaning. We had to listen to the music many times to understand how the music affected the composition and the lyrics. She would discuss the word-to-word meaning. She would discuss the characters, discuss the main character, discuss the mood of the character, the age of the character, whether it was a Naika, a Nayaka, whether it was a young child, whether it was a devotee. And once you were familiar with what the lyrics, the meaning of the lyrics, the context of the lyrics, the characters in the lyrics, she would start teaching the composition. And we had to, it was a very systematic kind of learning, in the sense she would do a line, she would take the pallavi of a composition, do a line or do a hand as it was called, and we would note it down, we would write it down. And it was not something that it was not something that was already fixed. For her, it would be extempore. The thought or the hand would be created at that moment. And we could write it any way, the way we understood it and the way we absorbed it. And you could write it in, you could write 5 lines, 6 lines, write a story, or write it briefly. It depended on each student. But the next day when you came, Kalanidhi Mami wouldn't remember the hand, but you had to reproduce it the way you saw it. So the idea was, when you watch, when we watched her delineating a hand, the reason why we wrote it down was you had to write down all the nuances. Otherwise, when you come back the next day for class, you would remember the hand generally, but you will forget all the layers and the nuances, unless you noted it down. And very clearly, like if there was a specific movement of the chin, if there was a specific movement of the eyes, if there was a specific movement, the way the head was held, etc., it had to be very clearly written down, so that we could reproduce it the next time we in class. For instance, if she would say, where are you going? Okay, if the hand was, where are you going? Suppose it's a Naika or a heroine asking the hero, why did you come here? Okay, the heroine asking the hero, why did you come here? And it is an angry heroine. It's a very common line. That's why I'm taking that. An angry heroine or a Khandita Naika asking a hero, why did you come here? Okay, so she's angry with him. It could be for any reason, because he's been dishonest with her, he's been deceitful. So she asks him, why did you come here? So the first hand is always the literal hand. If the lyrics say, why did you come here? So the first hand will be literal. Okay, since we already know that she's a Khandita Naika, she's a heroine talking to the hero, why did you come here? Okay, could be the first line. Then there could be a variety. Why did you come here? There could be a second way of saying it. So if you notice, the words, the lyrics don't change. Why did you come here? But the way, the second hand is a variation, where you use different hastas, you use different movements of the head, different movements of the glance, different movements of the body. So you have to write each one down. Okay. So the second, if I can remember what I did, why? So it is with sarcasm. You are a great person. Why would you come here? Okay. So you write the dialogue down. Why did you? Oh my God, look at you. How did you deign to come here? Here, come. Okay? So that could be 1 minute. 1 minute. It's hot. Okay. So, why did you come here? Okay, so I use Pataka Hasta, and the way the chin, the usage of the chin, the usage of the torso, the usage of the head, etc., changes the meaning of changes the way you ask the same question. So you have to write these down to give variety from one hand to another. Unless you write it in detail, so when you come back the next day, when you read it, the visual will be clearer to you. Okay?
How beautiful. I'm sure it is definitely going to benefit a lot of us watching here on how to kind of document and go about learning Abhinaya in a better manner. So just now, as we talked about Kalanidhi Mami's way of methodology of teaching, you have been very fortunate to learn under a Mahan like her. So as per your perception, did Kalanidhi Narayan Mami have her own kind of Abhinaya? Did she bring in a new wave of Abhinaya into the Bharatanatyam repertoire?
Kalanidhi Mami definitely revolutionized the way we looked at Abhinaya and Bharatanatyam. Why I say that is, her approach to Abhinaya was very intellectual. And it was also, the emphasis was on building the imagination. And therefore, there is no limit to an artist's creative ability, isn't it? So, therefore, Abhinaya, the world of Abhinaya became very exciting. Manodharma is the key to her way of looking at Abhinaya. But the route or the path to learning this was very structured. You don't start off looking at a composition and then just allowing your imagination to take over. You learned in a very structured manner. You learned to use the tools. She provided a lot of tools. You learned to use the tools, and with a very strong base, then when once you are proficient, Manodharma became, Manodharma is possible. And then it becomes effective. So the learning pattern itself is very structured. And it's only after years of practice and training that the communication becomes more effective and Manodharma takes over. She gave a lot of importance to understanding the lyrics and also to interpreting the lines in many ways. It was not standardized. It was not you take a line and do it in 4 ways, and the differences are not very, the 4 hands are not very different from each other. They are not, also it's not just about changing the gestures or changing the sides. It's about thinking differently. Using the same line, you build on the line with your imagination. So the thought behind every hand is very important. Like I said, why did you come here, right? You say, why did you come here then? Why did you come here? Why did you come here? So different ways you say it, isn't it? So that is what she created, or that was her emphasis, that was her style of teaching, where there is every why, you can say it in many ways. You can say it in many ways. And the change is not only about changing the gesture, but how you look at him, 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 how you look at him. That him, you do it in many ways, right? And here, come here. That come here is done in many ways. So, and everything is natural, it's spontaneous, but then it comes after a lot of training. And as I said, the training is structured, right? So, the idea is to create variety. Take a line and create variety. And the variety is created keeping rules in mind, right? You cannot go against the intent of the poet. Dhwani is crucial. You look beyond the lyrics, but there are rules because the poet had certain intentions, right? It's a woman talking to a man, an angry woman talking angrily to the hero, right? And the kind of heroine she is, you get an idea of it from the lyrics. So you have to keep all that in mind. The poet has given you a certain framework. You cannot go beyond the framework. You cannot go against the framework. But you can read between the lines and create a layered visual. Yeah?
Priyadarshini, that was really, really beautifully put up. My next question is regarding art. You have always upheld art above the artist.
Okay.
What are your views regarding the relationship between these two in these testing times?
Why I say art above the artist is, see, it's much larger than one person or a personality, isn't it? And unless as artists we are able to throw open our vision and able to look beyond the immediate barriers or immediate, what is around us, look beyond to a limitless canvas, we cannot create a world of beauty, which is what we are here for, isn't it? We are there to create a world of beauty, to visualize compositions and effectively communicate. So unless we look beyond ourselves and are able to imagine something much larger than ourselves, it would defeat the purpose. Therefore, I say that art is much bigger than the small me, that is, isn't it? So when I am limited physically by my dimensions, etc., it's my mind that can encompass the limitless space around me. And that, I think, is what art gives you, a limitless expanse your mind can imagine. So it's much larger than the artist. The other reason why I feel art is much larger than the artist is, as a person, I have likes and dislikes. I have certain convictions, I have certain beliefs. But once I am an artist, right, my dharma is to visualize, if it is a composition, it is to understand what the poet intends. And my dharma as an artist is to visualize that. I may or may not believe or may not relate, not in a way that if it is a heroine and there is a certain action that the lyrics describe that the heroine is doing, as a person, I may not believe in that action or I may not behave in that way in my life. But that is not what I should look at when I am looking at the composition. When I look at the composition, what is important for me is to visualize what the poet intended and to bring that to life. And for that, I need to activate my imagination. I need to understand how a woman like that would behave, where that action originates from, isn't it? I need to understand the character of the woman I am portraying. I need to understand the context, the situation, the emotional connect. So for that, I cannot limit myself to my likes, my dislikes, my beliefs and my convictions. I have to allow my imagination to take over. Therefore, art can never be, it is always bigger than me, isn't it? There is no, it is me in the sense that I have my experience, my training, my ability colors the way I look at a composition. But then beyond that, your imagination has to take over. And I think that in these times, we all, I think, would never have imagined that something like this would ever happen, or we would be a witness to something like this, where the whole world comes to a grinding halt. And we are all forced to introspect. We are forced to take stock of our lives, and we are forced to look at life and see where we are going to go from here. In every way, not just emotionally, economically, professionally, personally, in every way, we are all learning to take stock. And it is a churning that all of us are going through. Some are, it can be traumatic, it can be hard, it can be something that throws you out of balance. But I think what, as artists, what the strength that we have is this, the art, which I feel is very transformative and very, it heals, isn't it? We all say that art heals, and these are statements as artists we have heard over and over again. And even as artists, we talk about how art is cathartic for us when we practice. But in these times, as an artist, what has given me stability, anchor, has been my classes, has been these discussions. Because you speak of something beautiful, you speak of something that is ephemeral, you speak of something that makes you look at something larger than yourself and makes you focus on positive, pleasant things, isn't it? So in a way, it takes your mind away from so many of the traumatic happenings around you. But then when you come back to your life, somehow things become better to deal with, clearer, etc. So I think art, gives you a sense of anchor, and it definitely gives you solace. And as artists, that's what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really, really very, very well put. And we would actually learn lessons from this, definitely. Thank you.
Thank you. A pleasure. Thank you very much.
So, Priyadarshini ji, as we know, there are the Navarasas, which is the 9 emotions. Which, according to you, is your most favorite rasa on and off stage in day-to-day life? You gave us some glimpse of the Kandita Nayaka. Maybe if you can portray your favorite rasa a little bit for us, it will be very nice.
I think at different stages in my life, different rasas have been, are important, right? It's, as a child, it's probably wonder, isn't it? As a young woman, it is love, right? As people, I think as we grow, different stages in our lives, different emotions appeal to us. And just like throughout my career, different compositions or different kinds of compositions seem more interesting. At this stage in my life, I find Vatsalyam, I love it. Well, if you look at it in the rasas, in the Navarasa, one kind of Shringaram or love, you have Rati, you have Vatsalyam, and you have Bhakti Shringaram. So I like Vatsalya, the love a mother has for a child. So that right now is my favorite emotion.
So beautiful, Akka. Can you show a little bit of Vatsalyam?
Okay. Come here. You're so beautiful. Come. Look at you. Where did you get so dirty?
We are all having Adbhuta Rasa, seeing how you are able to bring the baby into life. Thank you, Akka.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So, you have served as a former director of Kalakshetra Foundation, where you have handled the administrative and management side of the arts. How has this shaped you as an artist?
I think every experience teaches you valuable lessons. And as artists, we are always influenced by everything happening around us. And I think everybody is, all of us are influenced by everything happening around us. But artists, I think, are more sensitive because we deal with emotions all the time. And we have to keep ourselves open to experience so that that gets translated in the way we communicate, isn't it? So Kalakshetra, the experience in Kalakshetra has been a beautiful one because I feel that the institution itself, created by Srimati Rukmini Devi, there is no institution or concept like that anywhere in the world. I think it's the pride of India. Kalakshetra is the pride of India because she has thought of every detail an artist would need. The way you should work, the environment you should work, surrounded by beauty, the attention to detail, everything that is valuable for an artist, she has thought about it and she provides. To be a student in that kind of an atmosphere is something, unimaginable. It's most valuable. That is the creative side of it. But being part of the administration, I feel that something like something so precious and beautiful and invaluable like Kalakshetra definitely needs only artists as administrators, as the directors there. Because I think the way they can look at the vision of the institution, administrators who have no experience in art and who are more tuned towards administration probably may not have that edge. Not to say that they may not be sensitive or creative, but I think you need to be an artist to be sensitive to administering Kalakshetra. It has taught me that, organizations that deal with art and artists, one has to be very sensitive to the needs of artists. Because basically, I think artists, as I said, are very sensitive. So to make them feel special, to make them feel needed, valued in every way is very important. And that is the responsibility of the administration. And it's not, you should make sure that they feel creatively fulfilled, right? But then you also have the economic aspect. So everything has to be balanced and it's not easy. So it is challenging, but you need a lot of sensitivity because you're dealing with artists and you're dealing with art and it's something intangible, right? Yeah.
It's very nice that you brought the topic of sensitivity when we talk of approaching the art and the artist. Sujata ji, you have something to ask, Priya ji?
Yeah. Priyadarshini, you have performed extensively for SPIC MACAY all over India. what has been your experience with our initiatives which we have taken for these last 43 years?
See, I'm really awestruck by all of you. Right? This is a volunteer organization, a fantastic vision by Dr. Kiran Seth, and it has, all of you have made this movement such a strong movement and so needed by our country, right? It's the amazing part of it is all of it is voluntary work, right? And it's not easy because, as I said, doing administrative work for artists is not easy because so many things have to be thought of, isn't it? And so much of coordination, that's one side of it. And then you should make sure that the schools are ready to receive that. You should make sure the colleges are ready to receive that. And to, put them both together and make sure it happens in a seamless manner. It has to be effective. Otherwise, the movement does not make sense. There is so much to think about. And the fact is, all of you are learning on the job. Some of you have been there for a long time and you have had a great deal of experience to learn it. But there are so many young people who have just entered this movement and they're learning on the job. And to me, it is very important that they come into it because they love the arts. They come into it because they want to contribute in some way to the arts, isn't it? They may be learning art, they may be artists themselves, or they may love art, they may be good rasikas, it doesn't matter. But for me, it's very important also as an artist to make sure that they retain that love, isn't it? It's so important as artists that we recognize the work that all of you do and to make sure that all these volunteers retain that love, because it's only together, the SPIC MACAY movement and the artists, that you can strengthen what you all are doing for this country. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your appreciation. Thank you.
So now we have a lot of budding artists, dancers, students, teachers watching us. What are some key takeaways for the younger generation who are very inspired and who are very passionate to pursue any sort of dance form?
First of all, I think what is very important, and I keep stressing, is respect your teacher, because it's your teacher who shows you the way, right? And the teacher-student relationship has to be a long one. There is no instant gratification. It's not a miracle, right? It takes time, it takes effort, it takes so much blood, sweat, and tears to become an artist. So have that patience, have that trust, and one day, if you persevere, you will definitely blossom into a beautiful artist. I think is very important. And there are no shortcuts, and art is not about becoming famous. You become famous, yes, you become famous because you become good at something. It's not becoming famous and then you think about being good at something. No. Art is about training yourself, training hard, working hard, without shortcuts. Art is about going deep into something. Just because you learn, maybe for 2-3 years, doesn't mean that you know everything in art, isn't it? So, and unfortunately or fortunately, learning in art is a lifetime process. There is never at any point can you say, oh, I know everything now. I think we should always be aware, though I don't mean to preach, but this is a lesson I have learned and I constantly keep that in mind. That is, there is always something more beautiful that I can learn. There is something beautiful, more beautiful that I will see. and I want to be ready for it. If I am closed and I think I know everything and I have seen everything, I will never allow that beauty to come in. So I'm always open to more experiences, more learning. I think that is very important. And another thing is, I don't think you can become a good artist if, if you're all the time looking around you to see, okay, oh, that person is doing this, oh, I can do it. Oh, that seems to be, she's doing that, she's successful at it, or maybe that's what I should do to become good. I think you should find your own path. You should focus on what you are interested in, what you feel you're good at, and you should develop yourself. And I think that is more important. Look around you. It's healthy to compete. It's healthy to look and learn and be influenced well. But ultimately, there are no shortcuts. Just because somebody else is good doesn't mean that if you imitate them, you will become good too. No. You will only be an imitation. I think what is important is to find yourself, the artist in you.
Thank you so much for that honest answer. The hard truths you would have to accept. Yeah, there are no shortcuts in life.
Yeah.
Thank you, Priyadarshini, for your such candid answers.
Thank you.
We are privileged to have you here today.
Thank you.
Now it's definitely time to have watch you on the stage.
Thank you.
We are going to watch the recording of Priyadarshini's performance in Chennai. Accompanying her on Natuvangam is Sri K.S. Balakrishnan. On vocal, Srimati Preeti Mahesh. On Mridangam, Sri Shaktivel Muruganandanam. On violin, Sri N. Sigamani. Please sit back and enjoy the performance. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely meeting all of you.
Same here. Thank you.
Ganeshaya Namaha. Sharanam
முக்கதொந்தி கணபதி கழல் போற்றி உந்தி முக்கதொந்தி கணபதி கழல் போற்றி தந்தி முகதொந்தி 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 கணபதி கழல் போற்றி தத்தி தொன்னம் தத்தி தொன்னம் தத்தி கிட்ட துந்தாங் தத்தி கிட்ட துந்தாங் தத்தி கிட்ட துதத்தி தொன்னம் தத்தி தொன்னம் தக்க தத்தி கிட்ட துந்தாங் தக்க தத்தி கிட்ட துந்தாங் தக்க தத்தி கிட்ட துதத்தி தொன்னம் தத்தி தொன்னம் தக்க திக்கு தத்தி கிட்ட து தக்க திக்கு தத்தி கிட்ட து தக்க திக்கு தத்தி கிட்ட து
शरणं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अहं प्रपद्ये 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 प्रपद्ये
The next piece is a Padam by Kshetraya in Ragam Gauli Bantu. It's a very subtle, very unusual theme where the heroine listens to a friend talking about her beloved Krishna's exploits with another woman. Obviously, she has had a very strong, very intimate personal relationship with Movagopala. Very strong woman. As she listens to this young girl talking, she says, "Stop. Who are you talking about? What are you talking about? Who? That Movagopala? My Movagopala? Enough. It's not in your place to come and talk to me like this. How does it matter who he goes to, who he is with him with now? It doesn't matter. He can go to anybody he likes. Remember the times that I had with him, the beautiful times, the strong relationship that we shared and we share. The time he used to come to me with so much passion, when he would cover my lips with his, and we would be with each other in each other's arms with passion. How does it matter who he goes to now? After all of them will only get the remains of what I have enjoyed. Kuvalayakshiro Gauli Bantu Kshetraya.
a very popular javli, Parulanna Mata Nammavattu Prananayaka in Ragam Kapi, where the heroine tells the hero himself that don't believe the words spoken by that woman who has an agenda to turn you against me. Look at your face that has become so sad. You seem so upset, so indifferent to me. What has happened? Which woman has poisoned your mind against me?
పరులన్ ಪರುಲನ ಮಾಟ ನಮ್ಮವಯದು
Before we conclude with the Tilana, we do a short piece that is semi-classical, where the mother Yashoda tries to keep her little son Krishna at home because she's tired of listening to all the words, the complaints by all the gopis who speak about the mischievous pranks of Krishna. So she tries to keep him at home. She says, Krishna, stay at home. See, it's very hot. I will give you lots of butter. I'll give you sweets. Stay at home, don't go. But this little boy is very smart. So he decides that he's not going to stay at home. So he says, Amma, I don't want milk. I don't want butter. I don't want sweets. I have a lot of work to do outside. I have to graze the cows. Look, all my friends are waiting for me. Then she warns him, saying there are animals, wild animals in the foothills of the Govardhana mountain which will come and catch you. He says, I'm not afraid of animals. If they come to me, I will then kill them and I will hunt them down with my bow and arrow. Madamekam Kanne. Before we go on to that, I would like to introduce the artists performing with me today. On the Natavangam, Sri Balakrishnan. On the vocal, Srimati Preeti Mahesh. On the Mridangam, Sri Shaktivel Muruganandam. On the violin, Sri Shikhamani.
வேணு தாயே தடை சொல்லாதே நீயே காய்ச்சின பால் வேணா கற்கண்டு சீனி வேணா காய்ச்சின பால் வேணா கற்கண்டு சீனி வேணா உல்லாசமை மாடு வைத்து ஒரு நொடியில் திரும்பிடுவேன் உல்லாசமை மாடு வைத்து ஒரு நொடியில் திரும்பிடுவேன் போக வேணும் தாயே தடை சொல்லாதே நீயே காய்ச்சின பால் வேணா காய்ச்சின பால் வேணா கல்கண்டு சீனி வேணா காய்ச்சின பால் வேணா கல்கண்டு சீனி வேணா உல்லாசமை மாடு வைத்து ஒரு நொடியில் திரும்பிடுவேன் உல்லாசமை மாடு வைத்து ஒரு நொடியில் திரும்பிடுவேன் போக வேணும் தாயே தடை சொல்லாதே நீயே கோவர்தனகிரியில் கோரமான மிருகங்கள் உண்டு கோவர்தனகிரியில் கோரமான மிருகங்கள் உண்டு கரடி புலியை கண்டால் பயந்திடுவாய் கண்மணியே கரடி புலியை கண்டால் கலங்கிடுவாய் கண்மணியே மடமேக்கும் கண்மணி போக வேண்டாம் சொன்னேன் கோவர்தனகிரியில் கோரமான மிருகங்கள் உண்டு கோவர்தனகிரியில் கோரமான மிருகங்கள் உண்டு கோவர்தனகிரியில் கோரமான மிருகங்கள் உண்டு கோவர்தனகிரியில் கோரமான மிருகங்கள் உண்டு கரடி புலியை கண்டால் பயந்திடுவாய் கண்மணியே
In Ragam Purvi, Talam Rupakam. The rhythmic composition has been done by the Mridangista this evening, Sri Shakti Vel Muruganandam. Tilana in Purvi, Talam Rupakam.
Niri madasa nira madare nira madaga niri nira re 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 ga 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 ma ma da 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 sa sa nira madasa re ga re nira madare re ga 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 ma da 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 sa nari nari do nari do udara da 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 ni nari udara da di da da nari nari do nari do udara da 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 ni nari udara da di da da nari nari do nari do udara da 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 ni nari udara da di da na nari nari do nari do udara da 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 ni nari udara da di da na परमहंस वचनामृतसारं परमहंस वचनामृतसारं ब्रह्मा
That was a really scintillating performance. We have witnessed the feeling which William Butler Yeats, the 20th century Irish poet, has brilliantly comprised in his poem Among School Children. And I quote, "O chestnut tree, great rooted blossomer, are you the leaf, the blossom, or the bowl? O body swayed to music, O brightening glance, how can we know the dancer from the dance?" Indeed, while watching this performance, these words reminded me of this poem. Thank you, Priyadarshini ji. It was indeed a pleasure and a privilege to have you known as individual and as an artist. We are very grateful to you for accepting our invitation and honoring us with your presence and your performance. Thank you. Damini.
Please stay with us. Coming next, we have an interaction and program by Dr. Prabha Atre, a Padma Vibhushan awardee in Hindustani music. For all the viewers, for seamless experience, I request you to kindly refresh the browser in 2 minutes to view the next session. For the participants, your feedback is very important and valuable to us. So please take some time out and complete the feedback forms. Namaskar.